And then, of course, Nyx is just generally a good hero. It's been a stable pick for a relatively long time. Good against all the int heroes, good against any hero that does damage that you can just use the Spike Carapace to stun them. Pangolier, Baru, even the Venge, Howl. You can stun all these heroes.
Some good uses from Spike Carapace on the Venge, especially here. Not so much control for the Pangolier, like you'd expect him to anticipate and roll Thunder whenever he sees the Nyx.
That's true, yeah. But the Q, the W on Pango, it's like the AoE. Can definitely carapace that relatively easily. But yeah, anytime you see these magic damage, like magic kind of like stunning heroes on the enemy team, you can pick a Pango and you're pretty comfortable because you're just rolling Thunder from Fog and just jump in there. Give her a go.
Yeah, just being able to carapace from your Vendetta is really nice as well, especially but even against the Brewmaster Clap and stuff, it's just nice just being able to run up, and you don't necessarily even have to use the break if you want. You can just use it to stun, but being able to have the carapace as a setup is always nice to be able to get the Vendetta hit in and then get the stun.
Oh yeah, now with the Vendetta, it applies the break, and we have two auras, two auras on the side of Gambit. Used to be 3 if we had the Drunken Brawler still. But you can take the Venge aura away, take the Pangolier passive away.
Yeah, you get that 4-second window, which, I mean, the other interesting thing, I guess, about this first phase Nyx is it does actually put that in the mind of the draft captain on the other side. He goes, okay, suddenly something like an anti-mage seems like a really bad idea if originally we were planning it, because that passive's going to be gone, and suddenly Nyx has the potential to kill him off in the mid-game.
True.
Especially comboed with the Darks here. Just coming in with an Iron Shell, you do so much.
I actually really like the Silencer this game because you have 3 relatively low mana pool heroes that use their mana. So if they die a couple of times and you lose that -2 int, it's very frustrating to play a game like that. You have to get like a Null Talisman to deal with the int that you lost.
Oh, hello. Lycan appearing. Gambit looking to get some serious push power behind this lineup.
I assume that makes it so Afro's playing the Pango mid.
I think so. And the Lycan...
Unless obviously they have Immersion playing it. I believe Immersion does play Pango, so that could definitely be an option, and FNG just picks.
Yeah, we saw Pango 4 played yesterday, I think in 2 games. It was UVJ that was playing it, but
yeah, they were obsessed with the POS 4. I don't think it worked out. It definitely didn't work out the first game. I don't think it worked out the second game either, because that was against Gambit where they lost 2-0, right?
Yeah, I think so. Once you get level 6, it's obviously a lot better because you have this. It's like when you get 6 on Nature's Prophet support. It's a power spike that, if it's core that gets that power spike, it's relatively good. But when you're a support that gets that power spike, it's kind of nuts because most supports you get level 6 and it's not as huge as like the Nature's Prophet ultimate or the Rolling Thunder. That's really like the same goes for like the Enigma. The argument is like, sure, they're maybe a little bit weaker, obviously barring the Nature's Prophet, a little bit weaker in the early game, but they hit a spike that's worth it to draft them as a support and have a little bit of weaker of an early game because you're just so confident in that power spike of like having the Rolling Thunder. You're just like, all right, if we have an offlaner that has like a Brew ultimate, for example, and then also the Rolling Thunder in a fight, it could completely change the dynamic of a team fight.
Especially with the regularity as well. Like, it's not your big Enigma support where this cooldown is huge, or even a Brewmaster support. It's pretty low. I think it's, what, 70 seconds?
The Rolling Thunder? Yeah, something like that. It's pretty short. I think they nerfed it.
Fairly short. I wonder if Gambit wants to go for the Shadow Fiend this game and just have the Pango in a 4 position. Just go for the Shadow Fiend with a push strat. Considering they ban out the Ember, with an Ember with an early Maelstrom, it's quite nice to just have and chip down, especially a summon type push lineup. Oh yeah, ban the Shadow Fiend obviously.
Storm Spirit.
Dragon,
well, that gives push. Okay,
there's a second push hero that you can grab as
well. Oh, turns out you can't ban all the push heroes with these 6 bans.
It's kind of like the old counter to Storm Spirit 2, back when the Dragon Tail used to instant stun. And I remember for a little while afterwards, people stopped picking DK when they nerfed Dragon Tail so that it was the projectile. But then people basically realized that it's still quick enough that a lot of the time with the turn rate and with the cast time on Storm Spirit's ultimate, you can still stun him. It's still some sort of hard lockdown because really, like in this game, they need something. They need something to lock down this Storm. Venge isn't enough. Pango Silence isn't enough. It's not a guarantee. Brew does nothing. Lycan does nothing. So the DK is a really good pick. Then, like you said, it is also that pushing hero that they want with the Lycan draft, and they are running the 4 Pango.
You definitely need an early Blink or an early Shadow Blade on this Dragonite, though, to be able to scale with how VP is going to scale as well. Like, VP's late game is incredibly scary, but Gambit also has incredibly good late game. You need to be able to catch the Storm. If you can't catch the Storm, he has a free game. And like you said, it's really hard to actually get these things off unless you have a Blink Dagger on the Dragonite or a Shadow Blade to sneak up on him. But you can't let this run too late unless you keep the Storm down while you're letting it run late.
Yeah, Storm is a pretty beastly late game core. I think just because the hero's been relatively weak for a few patches, it's easy to forget how hard it is to deal with the Storm. But just the way that he can kill 2 waves, if you're trying to push, like the fact that he can just clear the wave that's there and then clear the next wave, TP back to base, and then just show up to the fight as well. It makes it so incredibly hard to ever push into a Storm Spirit. He's kind of like almost like a Tinker in the late game levels of counter pushing. I would argue maybe even better.
You don't really have that kind of Q element to some drafts, right, where you can even protect the creeps. Like, they are completely vulnerable to Storm in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you have to offensively fortify if you want to push with that, because you don't necessarily have... I mean, you can get a pipe on either the Venge very late game or on the Pango or the Brew, but even that is just not going to protect it enough if you have a Storm Spirit that's level 20.
Yeah, and you can push on the Siege Wave. That's always an option, but it's awkward. It's awkward because you don't just be like, all right, it's 5 minutes, 5-minute window, guys. We're gonna push high ground. It's like high ground pushes happen off of pickoffs, off of Roches. It's not like you just time them yourself. They kind of happen. So it's a little difficult.
Isn't there like an element of vulnerability to VP in the mid game here? Like, I'm looking at the draft. It just looks like they want to split push by time, because if you fight Gambit in the mid game, that's where they're strongest, right? With the Pangolier, with the Dragon Knight.
Definitely. Anytime there's like a Darkseer, Storm, Sven, these heroes all want to farm.
That should take a lot of damage. We'll back away. Trying to contest the runes here, and it looks like actually the hack pick up 2 in the bot lane, uncontested, while VP will get 1 in the top.
Wait, I believe the hack denied it with one of the wolves.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking. I was like, where's that rune gone?
I think the wolf might have denied it, something like that.
I'm very curious to see if no one's going to pick up an early point into Vortex now when you don't lose the movement speed. If you can rotate with the Darkseer or with the Nyx Assassin with an Iron Shell, and then you just have at level 3 or 4 like a 1/1/2 on Storm, you should be able to grab a kill on the Dragon.
Yeah, possibly, for sure. It's quite good at level 1 now. The only thing is the DK, it's hard to rotate on him, but like you said, with the Nyx and the Iron Shell, it does change the dynamic there a little bit. This top lane, like, I'm not 100% sure who wins this. I feel like with a Silencer, since you can just use the Arcane Curse and an AoE, preventing like all the spells, spammy stuff coming out from Gambit, I feel like VP wins this lane.
Especially if they play around these small choke points, right? Because you can hit multiple heroes with those stuns, so the chase down for Gambit is not easily achieved.
So Ramsey's hitting the creep wave, just pressuring really far forward with his body. This allows Solo to... Oh, no, he's not going to get the side pull. They go for a kill instead.
Stun on FNG, the body blocking him as well, so he can't get through. In the end, Roger does give him an exit, though.
I tried to get the pull, but awkward timing with the Venge really nicely. FNG coming over and contesting. Just putting his body there, saying like, okay, you want to go pull? I'll just block it if you try.
Ramses throws out the stun. Follow-up stun onto 2. Older Kulich getting pretty low, and they haven't leveled the magic missile, which means that Kulich, he's going to live. 20 HP. They thought they had him with the Arcane Curse, but it ticked out in the end.
I really like the lane setup, so for having the Darkseer against the melee heroes really good. The Pango is in a 4 position like this, has a very hard time early on to actually have an impact. If it's in a dual lane with something that can threaten, then it's really good. Oh, FNG.
Well, going on. First blood is drawn. playing a little bit aggressive considering they knew he had no way of protecting himself because he's just been spamming Wave of Terror so far.
God, this hero, man, FNG respawns, and he has enough mana for one magic missile, and then can't do a second one because of the silencer stealing the int. That is the most frustrating thing. Like, silencer honestly is so good against all of these Gambit heroes. They all have really low mana pools, but they need to use their mana for their spells.
See how much they can punish it as well. I mean, I don't think they brought out much in the way of mana regen. No mangoes. Magic Missile coming out. Going to try and protect the silencer with the shield, but it's not going to be enough as the crits come through. Nice stick out from Solo, just enough to keep him alive, and he'll salve up to full.
These double stuns from Roger are beautiful.
It's just been kind of the show and tell of the last month or so, right? With people picking up Nyx even more, we've really got to see some Pos-4s shine in the laner phase, especially with these Impales. Oh, another double stun.
All these long-range double stuns.
FNG turns around Magic Missile. They're trying to get the kill Sansa so he doesn't lose the mana, but nope, he's going to get it. He might die for it, but he says +2 to me, and good luck casting your spells when you get back.
Most definitely were.
Oh, he's so frustrating on these heroes. Look at Venge, 195 mana. That int that she gained from leveling up, that's gone.
How long before she's just dribbling at the mouth? Like, I'm not so smart anymore. Well, they're actually trying to go Brew. That's a big one if they can get it. Kulich is going to get pretty low, but he has the collapse. They can't pursue. Is FNG going to... Okay, he's going mid. Is it just warding? It must be just warding. There's no way you can gank this Storm.
If he can pick up a decent rune, maybe. And we did see... So it looks like no one is holding the point.
He's got DD. He's going top. They're diving. Immersion's pretty low. They actually want to try and turn around. Magic Missile comes out and Solo. The punishment for taking his smarts is there.
Nice. Really, really nice work by FNG. Just like picking up running to the rune timing, TPing in. It's kind of like, what's the point in being top until this opportunity presents itself?
He actually might get more. Ramsey's going to try and walk it off, though. Does have the war cry, so they can't get through it. But FNG, he's never felt this strong, even without mana.
Yeah, he's a god.
Passive regen gave him enough for one more magic miss. I'm curious to see if he's actually going to be able to use both his charges and all the spells he has on level 6. If you use both swap charges.
God.
I don't think he'll have enough mana for it.
Carry mangoes, maybe?
Brew is actually like notoriously one of the worst heroes to play against Silencer. If you die once, you can't use clap and then split. Like, you actually need to buy stat items.
No one? He went bot. The hack is fighting on this, though. Verify's going to come out. Surge going to be there. The Wolves trying to do enough to hack. Across the creep camp. If no one gets hit once, though, he'll go down. So he has to be careful. He has no mana left either. Pasha says, fine, I'll clean up the kill. The creeps won't get you.
God, Pasha's level 6. He's actually huge in this bot lane.
And then also, if you look at the CS, no one wasn't actually threatened at all or slowed down by the brief fires coming out from Dragon Knight.
Yep. Makes sense. DK's not a super high pressure hero. Although every time I say that, it seems like DK just destroys lanes that he shouldn't. But in this situation, he's doing well. But it's about even.
They might try and kill Storm. The problem is he just got 6. FNG is here. Even clarityed up to make sure he'd be able to use both spells. No one's going the other way. And while that's happening in the top lane, Immersion will go down. Another hero getting a little bit stupid courtesy of Solo.
Good silencer draft. Unfortunate. Let's see what's Pango's mana at. 279. Rough.
Stun out the Storm. They can't get the silence though. No, they just get the disarm. And conveniently, he'll find a haste.
Yeah, if that's a silence, he dies there for sure. Unfortunately, you can't get both proccing at the same time anymore. It's one or the other.
I was fine with that. Like, I still think it's kind of crazy to have both of those on one ability because, like, the way I kind of explained it to people was you're basically talking about RNG on top of RNG.
It's just kind of two abilities. It's like two passives if you can get both.
Look down bottom. The Hawk got his hood before. His catapult wave takes down
the double siege wave.
Yeah, Pasha can't really do anything. I thought Pasha was on track for getting his Dom first, but it looked like the Hawk got a bit more. Yeah, he's the one that removes the tower first because, I mean, Pasha has some deep push, but you're not going to get rid of the siege.
Problem with Darks here is that you have to get the Soul Ring first, so that is what's prevented him from getting despite having like roughly the same net worth. Probably had more net worth before the tower. It's just the Soul Ring. It's necessary. Lycan doesn't need anything like that, you know?
They both don't have to be hampered by boots, at least. But yeah, and that's the other thing is, even once you get the Helmet Dominator, it's just the natural push power of the Lycan's always going to be stronger.
Yep, true. Yep, Feral Impulse on the Catapult, too. Just giving that extra damage.
He's really never felt so strong.
You can tank towers, too, with your Feral Impulse. Gives you the regen. Howl gives armor to the wolves. Playing Brew? Oh, he's good. He's got sick charges.
Kind of always been the interesting thing about Lycan. And actually, the skill build's changed a little bit, because it used to be that people want at least 3 points of Feral Impulse because it made you unkillable in the lane. But now there's a priority on kind of maxing out these wolves and just punishing with tower pushes instantly.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Second point to Feral Impulse's value, because it goes from 1 regen to 3, which, you know, makes the laning a lot easier. Gives you kind of a bit of a free tango with your passive regen as well. And then the wolves, just the cripple and the invis on the wolves, and the fact that they have so much HP now, they're very effective to level up. These things are doing 60 damage each. And that's without the helm, without the crit from Shapeshift.
Getting the early level 7 as well. Having the Invis Wolves if you want to use them for scouting. Especially once you got the Dominator up, you can just farm with that creep and then send out the Wolves for scouting if you feel like there's going to be pressure on the map. It's very useful to have early on.
Yep, even setting them on a support is very frustrating. You have to just run away from them. They can chase you all the way to base. These little wolves, because they hit you, they go invis. They hit you, they go invis. You're not going to drop a sentry or dust the wolves. Pasha pops his ultimate. That's the top creep wave. Pasha almost has his Echo Saber.
They're pushing mid, by the way. They committed the Dragon Form, and this is the important tower to get. They even rotated Lycan to ensure that's the case. And this is kind of the beginning of the next 10 minutes preview, right? Can Gambit keep up that pressure and look to just, by 20-minute mark, take all the outer towers of VP?
I'm surprised VP actually has a 2k gold lead despite losing 2 of these towers. And Gambit has this the supports farming in lanes. Right? They have 2 people farming the side lanes while this tower push is happening. So Gambit's playing the map really efficiently right now. Version's getting bot lane. You have Brew catching up in the top lane. The pusher's pushing. It's
kind of leverage of different lanes, right? Because, I mean, we think about the mid lane and we think about the bot lane, like, damn, actually Gambit, you know, they apply some pressure. Lycan seemed to be having a good time. He wasn't actually finding loads of kills, though, while Pop was a bit of a bloodbath in favor of VP. Yeah. That means Brewmaster just ends up poor by the 10 minutes mark, compared to where you'd maybe expect him to be if there wasn't that additional pressure coming out. And now pressure on the Dragon Knight, and we'll try and bring him down. Nice double stun coming out beautifully in the vacuum back as well to keep him all close. DK will fall, trying to chase him to Coolidge. He'll at least be able to pick up the rune, but the wall goes down, and the Centaur Stomp coming off cooldown in 2 seconds. I don't think they even need it. He's dead either way, or he should be. Depends on the missed chances. Oh, the Impale. Actually fluffed here, but they're going to surge forward with the Centaur, and they'll close up a double kill for Pasha.
Nice rotation from Pasha. With the Centaur. Very, very strong power spike at the moment.
Yeah, these Iron Shells early on is super helpful, especially against the Dragon Knight. Usually notoriously tanky with his passive. Magic damage is always going to tear through. And then now as well, with that fight, you manage to get level 6 on Roger, so you can start rotating around with the Nyx Vendetta and the Iron Shell as well. Probably get some pickups together with no one. Once he gets his Kai, you can get longer jumps as well. I'm very interested to see what he's going to try and aim for as a second item, if he wants to go for more offensive in the Orchid, or if he wants to get the Bloodstone to just start scaling into Lake.
I think Orchid's pretty good this game. Against the Pangolier, can jump away, use the ultimate, Brew split, take that away, take the Lycan out of the fight too, take his ultimate away. But, you know, you do lack a lot of mana regen if you don't go for the Bloodstone, just based on the way the regen has been changed. And if you go the Bloodstone, it gives you 200% regen, so it just buffs all of your other regen items as well. And that scales multiplicatively, so you can actually get a second Bloodstone and get double again. It's pretty nuts.
Gambit doesn't necessarily... I mean, they have some bursts, but it's more whittling you down as well. So just having the heal of the Bloodstone is also fairly useful for the Storm Spirit.
And you have the Global Silence as opposed to needing Orchid. And the Roll Thunder coming in. Global Silence is going to actually be used, and Venge will pay the price for it. Ango's stuck in the base right now. He can't actually get out. He has got the Swashbuckle available as the Silence ends. Split's going to be used. Jumping straight on top of Nyx. Roger's gone. They find more out of this. They activate the Lycan Wolf form. Ramses just going to stand his ground with the Gold Strength active. Does a lot of damage. There's the Vortex. Dragon back. Will get the kill into Pangolier. Now pursuing for more. Afon next on the hit list, but can they get him? Oh, pause coming out.
Huh.
Not Sure, it's attack.
I love the Gambit try to force them back. But definitely, like, with the swap in, it was like a tiny little swap, you know? Kind of unnecessary, super aggressive, insta buyback.
They'll pay a price for it, though. Coolidge will go down here. No easy way to escape from this. Just wasting the time of VP as best he can to make sure everyone else gets out alive. Gambit, that should kind of be the signal point, right? Okay, actually, we kind of underestimated VP's power spike at this stage in the game. We need to actually inflate our gold worth more by taking the out towers first.
For sure. I do like that they tried to force them back, though. That is definitely the play. Just get VP to sit in a very inefficient position, having 3 cores in one lane, and then you just leave and maybe go take Roche, or you go push the top tower, something like that. But definitely very tempting with this sort of lineup to go for that push, because the Benjora, you have the Brew split up, which the Sven was clearing through because he's got a lot of items. You have the Lycan, of course, with the pushing. You have the Dragon Knight with the ultimate. Just super tempting to go for that push. Okay, we get an early tier 3 and just win.
By immersion. They found an easy kill. Roger just doing Roger things. Or Nick's things in this case. I think he's happy with his performance. I mean, you gotta be, right? He sniped the core before that fight occurred. He's actually set up a few kills. This is a good start for Nick. This is what we'd like to see by this point in the game.
Right, and his stuns in the lane were also making the top lane significantly easier for VP. In an aggro tri-lane versus tri-lane scenario, those, like, you know, little efficiency plays with double stuns, denying range creep, stuff like that. That's how you get an advantage in an otherwise, like, relatively easy lane, even lane, I should say. So he's been having a really nice game.
Storm has picked up his Kai already, so getting close to level 12. That's when you're gonna see more of those long range, just jump setups from Roger and no one. Keep just getting pick-off kills and just stop the push from actually being able to happen from Gambit's side. But on the other hand, we also saw Afro pick up Amida, so I guess they realized that they need to get some more items up. The Hawk is going for his book 3 before they can actually go for the next push, so...
Solo.
Important kill to find since he has the global silence again. He will find it indeed.
It's an easy kill too.
Although, what are you going to do with this? I don't know if you go into the pit because you just used Elder Dragon form for that alone.
Yeah, and he's up soon with the, you know, the global. So, not that big of a deal.
I guess if you know you're not going to push high ground too soon, then you don't mind doing that anyway. As we were like highlighting before, the Necronomicon level 3 is what they're going to aim for before they head back to hitting buildings.
Just free gold. Yeah, may as well just take free gold. Like you said, push when they have another power spike. Honestly, the Necro 1's not a bad power spike. The way that it scales, 60 damage at level 1. You know, you get it to Necro 3 and it doubles the damage on the Archer. The other one is like almost does what, 2/3 of the damage at level 1. So yeah, Necro 1's actually very, very good.
They might go for Aphon here. They could set up the long range zip.
Yeah, they have the break from the Nyx Assassin, but it's a lot of HP.
And it's next to a shrine as well. Maybe if Aphon moved towards the mid lane, then you would have converged with Ramses. He actually just went deeper into the jungle.
Yeah.
And it's still only level 1 pulls. Yeah, you have the stuns from the Nyx, but you don't really have that much follow-up, so he's going to be able to run away and probably get to the shrine in that position. And now under the tier 2, it's almost more dangerous to even go for that.
It looks like no one is going for the Bloodstone after Kaya, which I think is very good. I feel like Bloodstone is, I mean, it was a good item on Storm before, but now I feel like it's almost necessary just because of how regen was changed. And without that 200% regen from Bloodstone, you basically cannot replicate the old regen that you used to get on Storm. But with the 200%, it's you know, it doesn't scale as nicely as it did before, but at the very least, come mid-late game, you will have enough regen to actually do those like long range zips. He's at double damage right now.
He's going to try and use it as well. Goes on the Brewmaster who has the split. If he can force that out of him though, it's worth, because you could easily just escape afterwards. Swashbuckle won't get the silence they were looking for, but we'll get the disarm. Merchant charging up, getting ready to go for the move, and will. But can he actually catch no one? He's going to keep just ball lightning away. Out of mana now, so they might actually be able to punish no one. Still got the DDs, they have to be a little bit careful. Refire to reduce the damage split's going to come out, and Lycan has activated the shapeshift mode, going to chase down on the Pasha. Stomp onto him. Cycloned up in the air. They can get the storm after this. Global Silence is going to be used, but Darkseer is already dead. And when he comes down, no one, he'll be dead too. He has no mana left, no life either. That's actually a big win when you think about it, right? It's just the Storm, you expect huge power spike at that stage. And on top of that, the Global Silence was used, you still lose 2 heroes.
Yeah, and Pasha, so that's a hard kill on the Darks here. Very hard.
The only real positive of that kill was they're not really close to any objective and they use Dragon Form, but it's really big for Gambit getting all those pickups, and Roger's dusted, so
Space.
looking a bit rough.
So he buys enough time. The dust ran out.
No book 3.
A lot of this game is definitely on Ramses, who has a full BKB, but if he shows up to a fight, and oh, speaking of which, bot lane.
Trying for Kulich here. He does have a TP, so he knows he can't just throw out the stun. And now he's got the assistance there, and the damage is enough to bring him down.
It's a freebie. This is always an awkward situation when you're a carry, when your team is not having the greatest game. Enemy team is where it's kind of all on you. Like if you show up to a fight and it doesn't go well for you and you just get kited, it can be almost over at that point because Ramses is like way above the net. He's kind of the whole gold lead. The gold lead is kind of between Ramses and Panda having a really rough time in this game.
And I guess you could say, oh, gonna be a jump in. No one. Trying to make the move. Also the magic missile on the swap out. Vacuum connects on the free. Ron Thunder's gonna come out. No one. Just looking for the kill on the FNG as that's the easy one. Might pursue for a little bit more. Just gonna back away though. Happy that Pangolier had to use his ultimate defensively.
10-second BKB on Ramsey still.
I think the thing I was going to highlight here is actually, like last game, we talked about how both teams had to be proactive, right? They had to be the ones jumping first. This game is different, though, right? It seems like Gambit have to actually be the ones to be proactive and go aggressive first, whereas VP have tools to respond to that defensively.
Yeah, for sure. Global is just one of the best counter initiation tools.
And there it comes now. Brewmaster can't do anything but die here. No chance to get a split out. No chance to run away.
I love that Ramses went for early BKB, no blink. Now he's sending it out, but he's just like, all right, if I show up to a fight and I die, it's probably actually over. Just with how good it was looking for Gambit in the early game. So he just goes for the BKB. If he has to use it to just get out, his team dies, whatever, as long as he doesn't die. But now he's got the blink.
And he also, for mobility, he's got the Darkseer to give him surge, so then you can just have the BKB and kind of roam free in the fights if you get a fight. But no one also changed up his item build. It's actually going for the Orchid instead after that pick off in bottom kind of going the wrong way. So he's looking to be, I guess, more offensive or more aggressive.
Jump in. Afon going in first. The stun follow up in response to the vacuum. The double stun through the Impel. Beautiful. Locks him on the spot and Dragonite goes down. BP. Well, they didn't have to go looking for the fight. The fight came to them, and Dahak has to expend the ultimate just to run away.
My god, Ramsey's got 600 gold from killing all those Necros. Now they're about to take Roshan.
Good god.
13,000 net worth at 20 minutes on Ramses. He almost has the same net worth as time that there's been in the game. If he keeps going this way...
Who knows? He could end up there with a blink.
It's almost like 1k per minute.
I mean, with that blink, he could just use it to farm more efficiently as well, you know? You just become a pseudo anti-mage.
Maybe. If they get a Rax, you know? It's getting there.
And another big item is ready. No one has got the gold together to have that Orchid. Not bad timing as well. Actually gonna have no Bloodstone in the end, though, as he did decide to just opt out of that. I guess that's okay, though, with the way you just suddenly ramped up this aggression. That item choice seems more fitting.
It'll be helpful in fights, for sure.
He doesn't really need to scale to be that kind of late game, like, built up those... like, he'll eventually get a Bloodstone, of course. But at this point, if he can just prevent the Panda from ulting, prevent the Pangolier from ulting, basically prevent any hero on the side of Gambit other than the Venge from ulting, then that's going to make enough space for Ramses to just go in and kill everybody. So this is the Ramses show. So all he needs to do is just do whatever he can to support Ramses, and going for a Bloodstone, you know, it would make him tankier, which would help support Ramses a little bit. But I feel like Disable is really the way that you help Ramses, because it's a Sven. You just want to make sure that he doesn't get kited.
Basically flexing to the state of the game and flexing on this Lycan right now. With the Orchid being shown, they did use the Global Silence to make sure there was no sort of rebuttal coming in from Gambit. And all the while, Ramsey's just casually pushing away in the bot lane.
I think the global is to prevent like a potential swap out.
Solo?
My God.
Solo thing.
I mean, this is kind of the Solo classic, right? He usually does this around the Roche pit, but he's always just trying to draw everyone's attention onto him. And I just like this logic of, hey, I've used my global. Can you guys come and kill me now? I just want to like go for a coffee break or something until my ultimate's back up.
I remember seeing Solo build. I think he went 6 branches on Destructor, no regen, and then just pool people regen and wards and stuff like that. And it's like, oh my God, this is taking like cost-efficient items to the next level. It's like, dude, branches are so good.
I think
and the braces treads. Like, this guy's so tanky.
I think my favorite like Solo moment in probably the last year is easily when he drafted the Spirit Breaker against a Beastmaster and just kept charging at the Beastmaster to force him to stun him with the new Bulldozer. I was like, this is just total Solo behavior right now. He's like, just hit me, just throw everything on me, I dare you.
Hey, man.
That's why Solo Ogre was so strong as well. You just run at people, throw the garbage, and they come back, throw more garbage, and just keep doing that the whole game.
There's like chucking garbage everywhere. People have to go on you. We saw in the last game, using your HP as a resource is a real thing. The Enigma did it, and it was obviously worked out really well.
Well, in the end, Swap's going to come out, but Pangolin not protected. Ramses with the backstab. Akulich silenced, so he can't even use the split. Will fall as well, and they might keep chasing for more vacuum. Wall goes down. FNG joins him in the grave. He was trying to save his life, and in the end, he couldn't even save himself. They're going to find another one. Shapeshift activated, but the hack going to be stunned up. The Stormhammer moving forward with the God Strength. Might be enough to bring him down. With the Vortex dragging him in, it will. They might just go back towards the mid lane here. The wave is pushing in right now. They want at least this tier 2.
Half of Ramsey's net worth lead is coming from the Necrobucks. I swear to God, every time Lycan ults, this guy just pops a stun on all the units and gets 600 gold plus the Lycan kill.
This has been a big criticism of Necros in the past. I mean, we've seen a lot at TIA. We've seen a lot when Arc Warden was in the meta. It is the kind of drawback of this item choice. It really can just enable your opponents.
Yeah. It's a rough one when there's a Sven one-hitting them on the enemy team. Look at the dancing.
Oh, there's a global silence. Brewmaster, he wants to dance, but not anymore. Afon with the BKB moving in the Dragon Tail, but it's too late. His Brewmaster is down. The buyback's going to come out. He needs to get that split off. There's the use of the Raw Thunder. FNG getting low on HP will fall. Afon. BKB is ran out now, so the Spike Carapace does in fact hurt. Nice Raw Thunder through by Immersion, but they're all so damn tanky, they barely feel it. Solo, who should be the squishy easy kill, sitting on half HP courtesy of that Crimson Guard and Double Bracer. He'll finally die, but this is what you find. For all that, you lose your melee, you lose your tier 3 tower, you have to buy back. Wait, GG? They call GG?
He's done.
Like, he didn't even wait, he left the game. I didn't notice the call until I saw him disconnect.
Go next. Whatever. Go game 3. We saw the value in the last fight of the Darkseer Surge with the Sven. I would argue that a big reason this hero has come so hard into the meta is because Darkseer, that's what I'm referring to, is that like you have all these really fast movement speed heroes, ODs, Svens that do so much damage and they just don't want to be kited. Ursa as well. You just surge them. They don't even need a BKB. They're running at 700 movement speed. And it's actually just the perfect hero in a patch where everybody's been buffed in terms of movement speed.
Just helping them get on top of heroes is very useful, especially when the melee cores are so common in this match.
Yep. In that fight, the BKB came out from Ramses, and he's still fine. Just runs away with the surge. There's no way you can catch him.
And Weppas, would you say like this is kind of an indicative element of the Necro? Like I was highlighting a bit before the last fight went on. It's this item that if you're going to pick it up, you have to be ahead. But it seemed like Gambit grabbed it in a scenario where they were happy to sit back and just keep on farming.
It definitely felt like they grabbed it and then wanted to keep on farming. You saw the Midas come up for AFO. He had the Blink Dagger queued up first and then went back for Midas instead, which was understandable. But you still wanted to finish up the Necro 3. And maybe in that position, as the Hawk, you want to go for a BKB instead, or maybe just straight into the AC and finish up the Necro 3 later. But it's such a good item for Lycan. And then, yeah, VP just started rolling with Roger being able to scout out and them all. I mean, the big thing was Ramses just having so much farm. He could Like you saw in the fights, he would just kill the Necros instantly, pretty much. So it makes it very hard. But I still think that it's the way to go on Lycan. Otherwise, you're gonna fall really far behind. And your Wolves do a lot of damage, but I don't think they do enough, especially against a lineup that is gonna have the Sven Warcry.
And that was kind of the story of the game, right? Sven, in the end, we looked at the way that went, Jenkins, and you kind of felt like, I think we highlighted early on, this was potentially very lethal if VP went late. They were very strong. But because Ramsey's got such an insane start, they were the ones who were strong in what was arguably Gambit's peak timings.
Yeah, no one was pretty strong as well. 15k hero damage. Surprisingly, like the moment he picked up the Kaya, he started looking to fight, which is not something like we didn't really predict this. Like with Storm, Darkseer, Sven, these three heroes kind of like to just farm jungle. But in this game, they just realized that if you can just stop Gambit's early push and early momentum, you don't even need to go late game because all they had was like the early push and the early momentum. That's it.
So stopping that first push was very good for them because that made no one pretty much finish up the Kaya, and then obviously Roger hitting level 6, and you get that combination of just Roger being able to scout anyone out. You have the Kaya on a level 11, almost level 12 Storm that can jump from like half the map away and kill anyone pretty much, and then you just keep on snowballing there and you just delay Gambit's push over and over and over, and then you give space for Ramses and Pasha to farm even more.
And that did, in the end, allow VP to push themselves into a third game here as we even up 1-1 between the side of VP Gambit. Short break, then back for the deciding game in the upper bracket rounds to see who's going to just head on through and potentially be one series away from qualifying and who's going to go down to that lower bracket. Stay tuned.